all quiet out there. You know why? Because they're all dead.
I hate you.
Could you be any more awesome?
I really hate you.
Hey there folks, thanks again for hitting us up at Mission Reloaded Gaming. We like to bring you the best in video antics across the web. Everything from Warcraft, Grand Theft Auto 5, Star Maiden, and more. Check out more of our awesome vids over at missionreloaded.com. Today's title is Blood and Bacon, and is developed by the good folks at Big Corporation. The premise of this game is fairly simple. Your objective, as the somewhat hero of this story, is to save the farmer located in the barn. Each round is a horde mode survival with numerous enemy types and bosses at your disposal to murder. I really have to give it up to the developers with creativity in the naming of all these wild looking monsters. Everything from the armadillo boars to pig rats made this experience something very unique to engage in. The game followed a basic equation of fun that I found myself enjoying over and over. Your task is to fight off numerous enemies and survive the day. As each day turns to night, the levels begin to climb in difficulty. So much so that you'll become reliant upon any assistance found throughout the items and power-ups located around the map. Although this idea is great on the surface, the game had very little in actual content to keep me continually entertained though, and I'll cover more of that later in the video. However, for what was there, it was golden. The difficulty sets occur in levels of 10. This means that each 10 levels the enemies will not only become stronger, but various types will appear based on your current mode. The creatures also have a vast naming convention for each series, with my favorite being Princess. Here's some footage of Jack and I trying to make it as far as we could on our first playthrough.
He's asking me to make the game, put it on easy.
Make it through today.
No, if we can't beat it on normal, then there's no reason.
They'll be surprised.
Pretty much. I am going to say that this game mode is starting to wane on. Like,
Yeah.
I can only go out and shoot pigs so many times.
Alright, these I think you need to shoot in the butt. Oh my god!
The gate is up, the fence is up! I am down! So
I'm down too.
we made it to level 16. Okay, so this is our first attempt at Blood and Bacon. I'm gonna go.
Since this game is a co-op non-competitive game, there really isn't a balance. However, I can say that the game does have a high skill rating upon reaching around level 20. If you do not have a friend to play with, it is just about impossible. Unless you find kicking pig corpses to a vending machine constantly for items fun and engaging. I also believe, given the levels of the game, that the pig's damage is set way too high, at least in relation to the power-ups you receive and the health provided. Now, when talking about the connection to the game internet-wise, it was amazing. I was able to easily connect with Jack over Steam, and we were able to match up and get into the action. I assume the game relies on the Steam network for its connectivity, which is fine by me. As you can see by this footage, the connection for online play is fairly standard.
Balance? You are overpowered at first, but the game takes after Pac-Man. If Pac-Man was about shooting rabid farm animals and shoveling them into a meat grinder vending machine for Pac-Man crack that gives you awesome new ways to mow down metric tons of violent pork running amok. So I guess at some point it was balanced, then quickly gets out of hand.
Although this game was lackluster in many areas, there was a few notable things that made me smile. When I first played it with Jack, we found ourselves losing time and laughing our asses off. However, as all games do, it found its way to the back of the shelf and hadn't been touched for a really long time. Recently though, we picked it back up to do this review and found all of that same silly excitement waiting for us. The best part was that the game retained my information and unlocks. And I had a Mr. Skelly doot.
Yes, it was good for about the hour. The rise in difficulty was steep and kept you on your toes, or was knocking you flat on your ass and making you start the level over. The rush from barely surviving the oncoming horde mixed with the absurdity made you feel like you were dropped into some gory farmland on the edge of Toontown. The level of hilarity of dying to a stampede of ghosting blue wild boars spewing lightning kept us in a lightheaded haze of gut-busting laughter, making it hard to continue.
The most cringe-worthy thing about this game is the terrible movement animations of the pigs. Yeah, I know I'm asking a lot from a 99-cent game, but the problem for me is that if the focus of your game are these creatures, then they should have the most articulation placed on them, so that it feeds the fluid nature of the experience. Seeing skating pigs does make me laugh, but also cry. The second thing that bugs me is the Left 4 Dead style of play that does not facilitate solo play in this title. In the game Left 4 Dead, you had bots or other players who could help pick you up when knocked down. In this game, however, there is no way to self-revive. When you are knocked down, you're done, meaning that you lose all level progression due to the slightest mistake. Mechanically, this had forced me to start living next to the water fountain while playing solo, so that way I could keep my health up, and doing so made the game feel even more gimmicky than it had before. What is worse is that if you fall down away from enemies, you could be sitting in one spot for minutes waiting to die.
Honestly, you really can't play this game for more than 45 minutes to an hour at a time, even with friends, because it does get a bit old. But we only got to day 16, so there probably is more content that might keep you playing, i.e. unlocking more guns, skins, etc. But that isn't really what motivates me enough to grind it out for the sake of getting it all for this one game. Like a Z-flick horror movie, this title fulfills the cheap thrills of something jumping out at you scare tactic that seems to keep working even when you know it's coming.
One of the largest problems I have would be the developer's priorities. As I was playing this game, one of the small nuanced things that bugged the hell out of me is the chains inside the barn would make noise and swing when you jumped into them. Now, I'm not upset at the fact that this was present, rather, this feature could have been put anywhere else in the game. The developer could have spent any time making sure that the pigs had better animation and taken that chain away. I know it sounds bad, but if you're gonna have a cheap game, then keep it cheap. The only thing adding details like that will do is make me ask, why did you do that?
The graphics weren't really a turnoff for me. It was in its own way charming. A charming game, full of pork-filled pinatas being hit with large caliber rounds, gouting pillars of blood skyward. I think it really has hit its full potential, unless they want to do some DLCs.
I have played a lot of these dime store games, and to be honest, very few have a long-lasting memory. This is where Blood and Bacon shines. Although I only have a couple of hours of play, and there wasn't a whole lot of content to flesh out, I still had a great time. Get a gun, kill a pig so you can get a bigger gun and kill a bigger pig. However, with all that said, in the end this game feels like nothing more than a watered down painkiller with one repetitive level. I believe I'm going to mark this title as a bargain bin and say that if there was just a little more finesse put into it, I would give it an it's alright. However, given the nature of it and the price, it's definitely a bargain bin. If it's not a game for you, that's fine, but if you're looking for quick-paced dumb fun, then this is the title that you want to grab.
The game, and its charm, shines. It shines as bright as an acetylene torch in the section of cheap fun, even if it feels like it was spawned into this world just to spite a computer programmer's professor. I can too make a crappy game that will sell on Steam. It is completely worth the asking price of not even a whole dollar. I give it the bargain bin title for being less than the price of a Coke, with the enjoyment factor of sizzling bacon.
Well, thanks again everybody for hanging out. This is Mog and Jack doing more reviews. We hope to see you around again. Check us out at missionreloaded.com.